Yesterday also I was probably in office for 16 hours, and I don't have a personal life after that, because I sleep, I get up, go to work. That's how my life is. So I work in office, I go home, sleep, have my lunch, and come back to office. So this happens in I would say 90% of people who are workaholics. Okay, but there are some people who are forced to do it because of the work culture, and they start looking for options. Now this is something that now in Indian market every organization is expecting you to do. It is not that something you like to do it, but the number of jobs compared to the people who are there in the market is so high that if you don't want to do it, they'll find another replacement for you. It's as simple as that. So if you've been asked to work for 12 hours, if you don't do it, tomorrow there will be someone else sitting on your seat. Okay, so people understand that, but then still they look for another option just because of the fact that they have to work for 14 hours, 16 hours. They have a family back home and they can't give time to them. Okay, so this is one of the biggest challenges we face as an HR when you try to retain people. They always say that's work-life balance imbalance, and we can't really give time to our family, and office is becoming our home. Okay, but then now everybody's job is expected, especially in the outsourced business, because there are too many people out in the market for one position. So today if I have a HR opening, I will have at least 100 people applying for the same post, and out of 100 I have only one post for it. So if you don't have flexible shifts or flexible workers, then I'll look for another one then. Okay, the last point over here, the third point, less frequency in giving rewards. Now many organizations, what they do is when appraisal happens, they'll give you a monetary benefit of 1,000 or 2,000 rupees. But organizations don't understand that it is not only about appraisals, it is about the rewards and recognition that happens. Most of the bigger corporates always have a reward and recognition program. So what happens in them is basically that whatever you've done in the quarter or the half or in the year, you've been rewarded for it. So either they give you a memento, or they give you a voucher, or they send you for a trip abroad. So according to your levels, these rewards and recognitions are, and this is a major event in our organization. Okay, so if I talk about an organization like Google, all American Express that I've worked with, these events happen in 5-star and 7-star hotels. It's not, doesn't happen in office premises, because this is a very, very important thing. The founders of the organization also are inside in this award ceremony to recognize the employees, and this is one way. If an employee is probably planning to resign today, if an reward and recognition ceremony is happening tomorrow, the employee will feel very, very nice because the CEO of the organization is giving a reward to him for the work he's done. So smaller organization or mid-sized organization don't have these things, and they just understand the crux of an appraisal happening, but then before an appraisal only the employee will leave the organization. Okay. So what happens when an employee leaves? Now this is the the most saddening part when it comes to an HR role, because HR is divided into two divisions. In fact, majorly, one is the employee relation part, other is the recruitment part. You have training also, but that's a separate division altogether again. So when we talk about employee relation, your basic KRO is that you have to retain people and keep them happy. Okay, so when you have people leaving the organization at such a very high rate, so your job comes at stake when if 10 people have been resigned and you couldn't even retain 2. So then the question comes. So these are the so I'll read out some of the consequences that happens on the company's end is loss of productivity. So when we talk about loss of productivity, is the employee who's been working for the last 2 years, he's got a better role for say another 15,000 rupees in the market, and he's moved on. So now you have to train another person who's a new employee, and make him fit for the role so that he gives you some benefit out of the role. The second is replacing a qualified employee. This is the same thing that I told right now, that you have to replace the person who's already left the organization. So poor retention creates a revolving door. So this revolving door word is like you hire someone, that person leaves, again you back into hiring. So people come and go. The door never closes. It's always an open door for the organization. Okay, so like I hire 50 people today, and 50 of them leave in a month or 2 or 6 months, and then again you're back into hiring. So this is a major problem in an industry where I come from. Okay, so we have somewhere around 100 joinings a week, or you could say a month in fact, and then out of which 60% people leave the organization. That high is the attrition rate. So people, when you finish this, you probably will move into a consulting or a corporate wherever you get placed. But then the only thing is, everywhere you have to see the attrition thing. Okay, now you will also try to look for a better opportunity and move to another organization, but then it's you have to understand that at least you have to give 1 year to the current organization to understand. Even to complain about the organization, you at least have to give 1 year. If you don't give 1 year, you'll be just switching jobs 6 months, and you'll get jobs in the market. There are many jobs for HR, but then there will be one role where you'll get stuck at a level, at the senior management level, where you'll be asked that you've shown 6 months in 7 organizations or 5 organizations. What is the justification? Why should I hire you? And that time you'll repent that, okay, starting of my career, I moved so many organizations either for a better prospect or for a salary hike, or I didn't like my boss. But then it is very important to stick on to an organization at least 1 year and then move on for the next role. Okay, if you stick on more than that, obviously that's beneficial for you. But then nowadays, no one in the HR department stick on to an organization for good more than 5 years or so, because that's a very difficult trend. That's a very rare trend that's been seen in the market nowadays, because the opportunities are very plenty, and every organization, since they have an HR department, they will try to get the best employees from another organization to the organization. Okay, so again we have the recruitment cost and the interviewing cost. So it's a hiring procedure. So when we start hiring people, we always incur cost. We incur cost on transport, we incur cost on if you have campus placements here, the college will incur cost, calling the company here, the transport cost, the electricity cost. So the cost is there for hiring. So if I have people leaving in the organization, then again I have to hire. So that hiring cost is again double for me in that one financial year. Next. Okay, now can someone tell me what is employee retention? Good, very good. Some ways that you can do it? Okay, so when you talk about hiking the salaries, now me an employee, okay, I'm saying I've joined 6 months back, and today I'm getting confirmed. I said I don't need my confirmation letter, this is my resignation letter. Today I am getting 20,000, I've got an offer for 40,000. Can you increase my salary and make me stay?
Sir, the answer is already in your explanation that at least you should attach to the organization.
No, I understand. So I am not those kind of employees who I will stay. I have got a 40,000 100% jump. Can you retain me, saying that, can you give me 40,000 and make me retain? Exactly. So, retaining employees on the basis of increasing the salary is I would say it's not an option at all, because no organization will do that until and unless you are that category, the A category of employee where you've given 5-10 years in the organization, and then you have a dispute about the salary matter. So there are, click now. Okay, I read this out to you. Employee retention is a process in which the employees are encouraged to remain within the organization for a maximum period of time or until the completion of the project. Employees retention is beneficial for the organization as well as the employee. So normally what happens is that okay, I have put down my papers today and I go to my HR saying that I've resigned, or I go to my boss, I've resigned. So the organization will first talk to you. It is called an exit interview. I don't know if you guys know about it. Yeah. Yeah. So you ask about the problem and then you analyze it. What is the problem and how can we sort it out? Okay. So if you have issues like your lack of respect that we showed, okay, or you have problem with your manager, those things can still be handled, okay. But when you have a problem often will issue, okay, where I don't want to stay with the organization because I've got a better opportunity, or I don't see any growth in this organization. So there are two things you can't give or you can't commit to the employee. Is one, a salary hike, second is the growth. So today supposedly I'm an assistant manager and I say I'm getting a hike as a manager level, the organization will probably not be able to give me a manager role. So if it gives me a manager role, then every other employee who leaves has to be promoted in the organization, so which is not possible. So what you do is you show the bigger picture, that you stay here for some time, you perform well, you've been performing so well so far, and then you'll definitely move up the ladder once your IGP comes in or once your appraisal happens. Okay, so it's all how you tell the employee. It is not about you telling the employee that you are wrong in asking for a promotion or you are wrong in asking for a salary hike. You have to make them understand that you are right, but you will get it at the right time. So it's all in your hands how you tell the employee. Otherwise the employee is just going to go. See, there 90% of the cases employees don't listen to the reporting managers. Okay, they will come to the HR, they will become an agony aunt and they'll ask you everything and they'll tell you everything, that I have this family problem, I have this money problem, I have this will issue. So you have to be, as an HR professional, if you are doing retention, you have to use your skill, which is why I said you have to be a people person, otherwise you can't do it. If you say, okay, this is not my problem, this is the company's headache, let the employee go, then you're not justifying your role and the company is not justified to hire you. Okay, the importance of employee retention is the cost of turnover. I'll explain first, let me read this out to you. Loss of company knowledge, interruption of customer service, turnover leads to more turnover, goodwill of the company, regaining efficiency. So when I have people retained in the organization, then the best part is that I don't first have to again start hiring. Second, that employee is satisfied, he will tell other people in the market, okay, he'll be a brand ambassador for you. Okay, like supposedly I'll give an example. In my current organization, I retained someone recently. Okay, that person was leaving for a better package. I couldn't give him a package, but I told him, you give me 6 months of time, in the next 6 months your appraisal will happen and I'll make sure I'll give you the same salary which you got offered right now. And trust me, the person is still in the organization, he hasn't left and he's performing well. He comes up to me every alternate day and says, I'm waiting for the 6 months. Okay, so I know till the next 6 months he's there in the organization, and if he's there in the organization till the appraisals, I'll make sure that his salary is up to the par where the market standards are. So you have to make an employee understand, you have to actually be his friend or his brother or the idol that he could talk about. See, it's about when you hire also people, they will ask for salaries which probably you won't be able to give. Okay, supposedly I have a bracket for 35,000 for someone, he's asking 40,000. Now you just can't say you take it or you leave it. Be it the best organization in the world, But then you just can't tell that, because in the HR department you're supposed to understand people. So you tell them that there are other benefits in the organization. It is just a matter of 5,000 rupees that you challenging about, but then the organization is such great that once you work here, money is not a problem. You'll get it when due position comes. Though there is a position also linked to it, and a better role. So you need to make them understand, make them sit with you. When you're retaining people also, you need to sit with them, make them understand that you understand the problem and you resolve it. Okay. Now in this industry, when I gave them an example that you were from finance background and you moved to HR. So normally what happens is they don't have the skill set. Okay. So what they do is, there are many recruiters like this, so there are many HR people like this who are into employee relation. They say, okay, I understand the problem, but this is a company policy and this you have to abide by it. At that very moment, the employer will say, okay, this is my policy, this is my resignation, please accept and let me go off. Okay, so that's his policy of showing you that, okay, you didn't care for me, now I won't care for the organization. Okay. So in that regards, you need to make him understand. You have to tell him that we need you, we understand, and we'll solve it. Okay, be it a problem with a salary of 100 rupees to a salary of a discrepancy of a lakh of rupees. You have to make the employer understand. You have to get the problem resolved, and you have to tell the employer that I am always there for you. That is what an HR department of an organization is. Be you working probably for 9 to 6. But then you still have to make the employer understand that you are always there for the employee. Once that is there, you've made the bond with the employees in the organization. I mean, you walk, then you don't have any problems of attrition at all in the organization. Attrition does happen when people leave for a better opportunity. So some attrition you can't control. Where employees are dissatisfied is something that you can always control, being in the HR department. You go back. हाँ बस what is wrong with you yaar? Okay, so these are the key areas that of employee retention. One is the compensation. So environment, when I talk about environment, now if you're working in say an XYZ company and say Google is the best organization in the world, I want an environment like Google. Okay, so obviously you can't give that. I mean, that's for sure. But then, however, when we get feedback such as our people that, okay, this is not there in the cafeteria, this is not there. So those things are to be, taken very seriously and send a feedback to the management. Why? Because the employee feels that you can do something for them. And if you don't do it for them or you take it very lightly, then there will be a point saying that, okay, I've told these things to HR but they don't do anything, so what's the point in sticking to the organization? So this is again a lack of respect that you show towards an employee. Okay, so supposedly I'm working for an organization for good 10 hours an entire day, and I say, okay, for my recreation I don't even have a table tennis room or a reading or a library in the room, okay, in the organization. So then you say, okay, because of lack of space we don't have anything and we can't do anything. So this is when they start saying, okay, the organization is just there to take my services and nothing to give me back. So this is one thing that you as an HR person has to tell the management, because whatever the management thinks is through your heads and not the employees, because management won't sit with the employees and understand what the problem is until the problem is really big. So as an HR person, you have your reviews happening with the management. You have to tell them what can be improved in the organization, what needs to be improved, and what the employees are expecting from the organization. Okay. So next is the growth. Okay, so growth needs to be very transparent in the organization. So some of you will probably get a role wherein the organization is just newly setting up and you have to make the policies and procedures. So you have to make sure the organization you join has the growth path very, very open and clear, even for you also. So you join as an HR professional, you have to move up the ladder. So your growth path also has to be very, very clear and specific. So when I talk about growth over here, yeah. So the growth itself has to be streamlined. So you have to tell the employee you are at this level, and in the next level this is a growth path. So this will take another 2 years or 1 year for you to be promoted to the next level. So nowadays what happens is that I'm working as an HR professional here, and I get a call from another organization saying that okay, we'll give you the same salary but we'll promote you at a different level. Okay, now what happens is we switch the job. Okay, so I am at an individual contributor role. I have moved to a people management role where I don't have the skill set. Okay, so when I don't have the skill set, because I have just given probably a year or 2 years for me to get developed to that role. So what happens is when I move to people management role, I am thinking about myself then at the same, and I'm not thinking about my peers. When I'm not thinking about my peers, then they have this problem of attrition over there within your team itself, because you're not capable enough to handle the next role. So you have to see your own growth, you have to give time to every level and then move. Okay, so whenever you talk to an employee to control attrition, you have to make the other person understand that you moving the next role to the next level, but however do you have the real skill set to do it. Okay, so now supposedly an employee just started being a year, and in the next organization he's being promoted as a manager, okay, or an assistant manager, which is a middle management level. The employee doesn't have any skill set to do it, for sure, because he's never handled decisions, he's never taken decisions on his own, he's never handled people, he's never controlled attrition as an entire team. So you as an HR person has to make him understand. You give it another year over here, you understand it, and then you move on to the next level, because that's very important, because at a middle level management role, people look after you rather than you looking up to people. Next is the relationship that you share with your employees. Okay, so in my 8 years of career, I still have people calling me from my first organization when I started off till today, saying that okay, I want to switch the job. Is this the right decision? Should I go to this organization? What should I tell them? I have a gap in my job work experience. What reason should I give? So that's how the bond you make. That's because HR industry is so small that if you move into another organization, out of these so many friends you have over here, they will definitely you'll find someone or the other in the next organization. The HR fraternity is very, very small. So it's all about how you make the relationship with an employee, with a colleague, with your bosses, and how you connect with them. So for example, today I am saying that okay, today an employee in the organization says I'm leaving, okay, but if you have a bond with the person, you can make the person stick on even if you yourself have left the organization. I have seen that, I've done that, so I know it happens. To give an example, there was a assistant manager in my last organization, and that person wanted to leave for the last 2 years now, okay, but then the person is still with the organization just because I've been telling the person the market is bad, it's going to look bad in your resume. So wait for the next role, be prepared, because you don't know how to handle people right now. So let that move on to the next level, and then you make a switch. So that's how you retain people, and that's how you make relationships with people. And then the support. So when we talk about support over here, support is not that you're resolving all the problems of the employee when it comes to attrition. Okay, support over here is when an employee comes to you, the employee treats you, probably thinks of you as a fatherly figure or the motherly figure. Okay, now when they comes to you, they'll always tell you, I have this problem, my grandmom is not well, or I lost my wallet, I can't pay my entire month rent, I have to look for something else, or this is not a better job, I'm just getting paid peanuts. So you need to understand the employee, you need to talk with the employee, you need to ask about whatever is happening in the family or the mindset, and then give a resolution. You just can't say that okay, probably the employee says okay, I have family problems and want to leave the organization. and you say that okay, you have family problems, please leave the organization, I'll be more than happy to accept the resignation. Okay, this probably the manager can do that, the reporting manager, not an HR professional. An HR professional will understand, make the person sit, say what family problem you have, do you have any backup, do you have people in the family who can look after your grandmother or the relative that you want to look after, what are leaves that you need, something that we can help. So these are the things you need to be proactive. Okay, so there are many things that you can't probably give because of the organization decisions, but then you have to be proactive, ask, make the person feel wanted in the organization, and then take a call on it. Okay, so as an HR professional, it is very important for you to make the other person understand that the company is really wants that employee. Otherwise, every employee will come, work for 6 months, and then leave the organization. And at the end of the financial year, you will all have all fresh people except the management and the HR department. HR department is where you have the least attrition, because that's the safest job, because there is no competition between the team, neither there is a competition in the market, unless and until the person feels that okay, it's time for me to move on because the company is shutting down. So I would like to talk about specific to two industries. One is the IT and other is the outsourced BPO and the KPO division. Okay, so when we talk about attrition in these two divisions, so in BPO KPO you normally have a different set of people, all freshers or graduates who come in 20 years, 21 years, 18, 19. They start from 18 years and they move on to 21, 22 kind of role. So what they say is, okay, I've been offered 22,000. Next company down the block offering me 24,000. I'll be happy to move there. So now as an HR person, you can't give him 24,000. Okay, you can't give him any luxuries. You can't tell him, okay, other than this you have bonuses and everything, which he already knows. How to retain him? You will always have to retain him, showing him the growth path. You will always have to tell him the company has something for you, so stay here, this is a better place to work. Probably that is you're working in the worst company in that same industry, but then you still have to believe that your company is the best. If you don't believe yourself, you won't be able to make the employer understand the same thing. At the same time, there are cases wherein people want to leave because they have family issues, they have health problems, or they have a genuine reason for it. So whenever you take an attrition on you, in the sense when I'm talking on you means when you accept a resignation, it is always good that you make that attrition happen in a very smooth way, so that the employer will always remember the organization, and employer always remembers an organization because of the HR division. Be it because HR first, they start recruitment. Second, when the time person leaves, again the HR is involved. So make it a smooth transition, so that the employee, whenever he wants to come back, probably will think again to join back the same organization. So in return, you are also getting a resource and you're getting a good name in the market. So either you can really make it in the market, or you just can break it by saying, okay, I don't have any retention program in the organization, and so the employer comes in, put down the resignation, and there you go. Okay, so it's all in your hands being an HR professional. The other department, other industry is the IT department. So in IT, what is there? It's all skill-based job. Okay, so they work for 11 hours, 12 hours a day, and they get paid hefty payments. Okay, because it's a skill-based job. Now every other organization is again in IT, in part of the IT industry. So what they do is that supposedly someone is at a skill set, so they'll get people from your organization and they'll say, okay, I'll give you some decent hike and you come out from your organization and join my company. Now probably a friend from here itself will be trying to poach people from your organization. Okay, so the only point you have is to show them the right channel, the right path. You have to tell them it's too early for you to shift, and if you shift right now, it is a mandate. Every person who shifts in every 6 months or year has problem later on, because no company in the market will take him after a certain level. Okay, I had a resume for a AVP HR person. Okay, that person had worked for 12 years and he's worked in 11 companies. And for the last 1 year, he was looking for a job because he'd given 30 interviews. No organization was ready to take him. At his level, there was a drawing for